All right, hey traders, TG Watkins here. How you guys doing out there today? So yeah, the market has been moving. Let's take a look at a few things because I do think that we're going to need to take a bit of a break for the movement that we have been seeing. But it's good that we're seeing a little bit of the market wake up in good ways. So I will get to that in just a second. Let me close these. We can move this around, and then yeah, if you guys come over here to my Twitter page, some of the things that I've been posting recently, this was something back from 2003 showing just really the nature of the VIX and what it looked like during the bear market, and then what it looked like during the bull market, and how that all changed. I mean, just the characteristic of the VIX, and you could see that it just started to really calm down, and specifically, it got below 20 and stayed below 20. Yes, there were spikes. So yes, there were pullbacks and things like that, but for the most part, you can see that there is a drastic change in characteristic. And if we look at the VIX currently, I think you will see kind of what I'm looking at. You zoom in here a little bit, and you can see in through here, very, very crazy, big swings, all that kind of stuff. It really had big volatility. But then what was it? Something around here. I think October of 2022, that was basically the bottom of the market. So it seems we've continued to move up since then. But look at the nature of the VIX, completely different than what it was back in 2022 or most of 2022 and even into 2021. Yes, of course, there will be occasional spikes, but we keep trending lower, and we've broken out to new lows. So I know there's the adage, VIX low, look out below. So we do need to be aware of that. But the fact that this is calmer, and generally trending down, I think bodes well for the market. So then let's go back, and I'll show you a couple other things that I'm looking at here. And then feel free to let me know if you guys have any questions out there, and we'll take a look at whatever you're looking at. And then another thing that we got that is showing some development, and this is this is my playground. This is what I'm looking for, and I'm very excited to be seeing these kind of developments. And if you look at the IWM, we've had a fresh Moxie price trigger on that, and it was at a low spot. So this is let me go back to the charts, and we go to the IWM. This is I mean, again, I love this. This is great. This is what we're talking about with the Moxie indicator. We want so the rules with the Moxie indicator is that we want it to cross over zero, which fires a price trigger, basically an arrow that just denotes when the indicator crosses over zero. We want that to happen before or right as price crosses the 50 SMA, and you'll see right there, and right there were all really good signals, and we've just got that. And I mean, look at the kind of day, last few days that we've been having with the IWM. This is absolutely fantastic. We are seeing things start to wake up. Now, what we're going to have to do is just make sure that this actually all follows through, and we're also going to need to make sure that I want to see. I want to see money rotate out of the big FANG stocks, like the mega caps, those things. I want to see that stuff come out and actually start kind of basically spreading around, redistributing itself around the rest of the market. That would be awesome. And that means that we should be seeing better breadth. We should be seeing more participation from more names. I'll show you this real quick too. The Dow is just a decent representation of kind of what we have been experiencing over the last few weeks. So one of the things that I've been talking about was right here. You can see mid-April. So here's the date, mid-April, and you can see that was kind of the top of the market. And again, I'm just showing the Dow to kind of demonstrate what this looks like. And over the last 6 weeks, we were seeing the Nasdaq and the SPY generally moving up. Definitely the Nasdaq. The SPY was more neutral. And we saw Nvidia take off. We saw things moving up, and we saw really just kind of the mega cap names doing all the heavy lifting. And so we thought, okay, well, what's going on? Because we're seeing the rest of the names, and again, the Dow is kind of a good show of this, but we could see the rest of the market kept trending down, even though those other sectors were going up. And so we thought, okay, what's going to happen here? Which one's going to win? We can't keep going up like this if the rest of the market keeps disintegrating basically underneath our feet. And That's what we're seeing here, and the Dow was kind of showing that, and the market kept kind of just trending down. Breadth kept trending down. A lot of stocks kept kind of not behaving, not performing. Well, then all of a sudden on Friday, huge characteristic change. Friday, we got this huge reversal, massive up bar. Uh, Absolutely fantastic. We saw a lot of support in the IWM. We've seen a lot of names start to really perk up and start to move based on this. So I'm thrilled. This is great. This is what we're looking for. We wanted to see this basically pull back a little bit, find some support, and then continue moving up. So, whatever it was, debt ceiling, the fact that the Fed is going to skip, not pause, but they're going to skip at the next rate hike. There could have been a whole bunch of things. There could have been that the mega caps are at their highs, and the rest of the market has basically been basing for a year. Because if you look at the IWM, and we can look at some other names, I mean, this has been, so we transitioned here. We topped out and then came down. That was about a year, and then we've been basing for about a year. And put it together, you've got 2 years. You've got 2 years worth of a bear market, and the market seemed to have stopped going down. In fact, where I thought price was going to continue breaking lower, since it ran right there, right into the daily 50 with the Moxie indicator below zero, we did get a down move. But right when it was supposed to break lower, it actually went higher. And so we had to kind of change our tune. And then what I was looking for was my bullish pattern, and that's what was happening right here. I was looking for price to come back, test support, and move up, and that's exactly what it's done. So we've been taking a few names and trades and stuff like that here for it, and yeah, it's been doing pretty well. All right, let's see. I want to make sure I actually get my chat box up here. I don't think I see it. So I'm on a different little player here. So if anybody is trying to chat me up, I don't think I am actually going to be able to see you. I'm gonna have to figure this one out and see where that the chat is. All right. Anyway, so we kind of look at this, and then we go back to. Let me get you over here to the my Twitter page, and then just kind of some other fun pictures. Beautiful weather up here in Washington. It's been a great couple of weeks. It's like one of the longest stretches of good weather, it feels like, that we've had for a while. Yeah, so names like this, we're starting to see things here actually do pretty well. If you look at I think now for Unity, they got mentioned in Apple's release. Their goggles, their augmented reality goggles, and so they might be a partner or something like that. There was big volume. There continues to be pretty good, significant volume. But the thing that we've been noticing is it's been really tough to trade because it's really just been going sideways. So, yes, there were moves, but as far as a trend, there really hasn't been a trend. And the thing that I'm starting to look at is maybe this is something different. Maybe we're finally starting to see some traction, indicative of the rest of the market finally starting to do something. And if we look here, a lot of these names have been beat up and basing for a very long time. You can see this, just haven't been going anywhere. And if you look at the monthly time frame, this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. What has changed? We're starting to see just things that are happening that are starting to trigger certain activities. But if you look here on the monthly chart, you'll notice how price was underneath the monthly 10 this entire time. I mean, ever since the bear market started. And then what do we have here? We now have a full bar over the monthly 10. And even though we kind of had that back here, it didn't stay. In fact, you can see the bar, the body of the candle actually stayed underneath the monthly 10. And now I know we're only 7 days into the month, but if this continues to stay like this and this looks good and we can actually get a full bar to close above the monthly 10, that is a definable difference of something that's going on out there that we should be paying attention to. And you can see the same thing on the weekly. We now have price breaking over the weekly 50, which it has never done in its recent history. In like the last 2 years, hasn't done it. So while the challenge was that in through here, if you're trying to trade this, it's just a mess. There were opportunities, but it was challenging. So what I'm starting to see is names like this are starting to move up. And I think that we are coming out of the bear market. There's activity, there's action, and we might be in this little Goldilocks phase that maybe we are in a little bit of a soft landing. Or, if this recession or something like that happens later, maybe it happens later. But like right now, it seems as though a lot of names have already gotten repriced, and we're starting to see that they don't want to go lower. And if they don't go lower, then where do we go next? They tend to go up. We also know, a bunch of other names have been doing the same thing. I'm just trying to think of all the various names that I'm looking at, which ones are doing um, interesting things. How about this? Carvana. Now, yeah, Carvana, hey, what a wild ride. And it definitely went below its pre-2020 price and all that. So yeah, it wasn't a great investment. It definitely got hit. However, and we think about this, it was it a fad? Is Carvana a fad? And how are they doing? We've I don't know if you guys kept hearing about all the auto repos. Again, just a sign of the economy and the government pulling back from their stimulus checks and interest rates going up. And so we were looking at companies like this probably going defunct and whatever. Now, they haven't really done much. I mean, proportionately, percentage wise, these moves have been significant. But what you'll notice is they stopped going down. This has really been the theme that I've been talking about over the last few weeks. But you can see for weeks, for months, this thing was just languishing around here. Sure, there are a couple pops, but they didn't really do much. But now it seems like they're starting to get into gear. It's been a long time, but look what's happening. They're starting to get over their moving averages. It looks to me like this is the first time it's actually gotten to the weekly 50. So again, progress. Now maybe it gets held up here, but eventually I think it's going to get through it. And if you look at the monthly chart, same thing. Now again, we're only in 7 days into the new month, but we're starting to see names get over their monthly tens, whereas before they just couldn't. And so again, progress is being made. We can even look at ARC. And again, say what you will about Kathy Woods and the ARC ETFs and all that kind of stuff. And, but my point is that even if you think it's that not a great ETF and that they're struggling or whatever, or they make bad decisions, like you name it, any negative thing attributed to ARC, but look what's happening. It's starting to make progress. It is over the monthly 10. It is over the weekly 50. Whereas before, look at this, it could not get past it, but now it's getting there. The Moxie indicator is about to fire. So we're really actually starting to see some changes. In fact, every ARC ETF, and let me see if I've memorized them all. ARC W over the monthly 10, over the weekly 50, like that looks like it's turned around. That looks like this thing is done going down. If we look at this, inverse head and shoulders, you know? So there really seems to be something there. So let's see, ARC W, ARC G. And what do we got going on here? Again, over all moving averages right here and here. It took a long time. If you look at this, lots of fits and starts, lots of chop, but you know what? They stopped going down. And this is the biggest thing that I'm seeing out there is they've stopped going down and they're starting to actually make some progress to the upside. Again, Moxie indicator just about to fire. So let's see, ARC G, and then there's ARC X, even the space ETF. Look at this. Inverse head and shoulders. And before they did try to get past their weekly 50, but they just couldn't do it. Now it really does look like they're getting past their weekly 50. And you can see here prices over the monthly 10. So again, a change of character. Some things are really happening out there. Let's see, ARC. I think there was another one, but I think you guys get the point of what I'm looking at. Every ARC ETF has hit its lows and starting to move up. Oh, ARC F. There we go. And same thing here. Look at this. There you go. There's the Moxie price trigger. And this is on a weekly time frame. So this is pretty good stuff. This is good stuff that we're seeing in through here. But yeah, right in through here, holding the weekly 30, the 8 is over the 21 and over the 50. Everything is basically firing in the upside direction, and price is over the monthly 10. So yeah, we're really starting to see some good stuff out there. And the fact that the IWM is kind of working, we could even show you the Dow. Now the Dow, as I said, it was really languishing and looking like it was about to fall off a cliff and not doing too well. But at the last minute, what happened? Price here held the weekly 50 and moved up. And even through this whole time, every monthly candle body stayed above the monthly 10. So far, so good. And again, I think I think as long as this doesn't fall apart, things are going to be moving up, and we're basically seeing the same thing for the SPY. Clearly, we know what the Nasdaq is doing. We've got that, and we know what the Simmers are doing. We got that. They're all up. But what do we got here? The SPY over its monthly 10, and it's over all moving averages here on the weekly chart. So, yeah, it should be a good time. And as I said, this is something that we've been waiting for 2 years, and it's been a bit of a slog because so many names were just chopping along the lows and not really doing much. But now we're starting to see some activity. Things are starting to wake up. Obviously, things like Palantir are making waves, and you can look at Palantir, and it's kind of the same story. Notice how long price was just kind of meandering and bumping along the lows and through here. Sure, maybe there could have been some trades in here, but boy, that's trying to get really nimble on this. But then look, now we clearly have something different that's happening out there, and we're starting to see more and more names participate like this, and so this would be fantastic. Apple, the fact that it is, I had to pretty much get the right one. Look at that right there, double top. And it is, this kind of stuff has been a flight to safety. They've done well. It's been a flight to safety. We know that with Nvidia and Apple and Google, Amazon a little bit, Netflix, Meta. Those names have been doing really well. But it's at this point, I'm kind of thinking it might be a game of whack-a-mole. Like, who want after a how many weeks, how many months was Apple going up and up and up and like in a 45-degree angle? I mean, just kind of right up there. And now it hits a previous all-time high. Game of whack-a-mole. Who's going to be the first one that really wants to go buy those new highs? Probably people who are not experienced and not professional, but you guys are, and you know that would be risky to be buying up there. So what I want to see is I want to see something like Apple actually take a break. I want to see it rest. I want to see it pull back a little bit, and I don't want to see the market fall apart. Yes, Apple is a huge component of the market of the index, and so yeah, a lot of people are thinking, oh, if that pulls back, the market's going to just totally implode. Well, if it just kind of hangs, then what we could be seeing is money coming out of it and going into the rest of the market. And that is what we want to be seeing for it to move up. There we go. Found the chat thing. Yeah, Austin, can't believe the VIX is back lower than pre-COVID levels. There you go. I mean, I think that is what we were seeing. I think we're seeing stuff start to work. Brighter side, Nick, good to see you. Where do you think possible entries could be on pullbacks in case folks have missed the first move? So yeah, for IWM and ARC, generally, let's go. The hourly 50 would be one, and the daily 21 would probably be the next area. So right here was pretty good, but that was both the 50, the 200, and the 21. This was to the 21. So yeah, I would generally look at the daily 21, which should probably be around the hourly 50, or it could be below the hourly 50 if the Mox indicator is above 0, and that would be a trampoline move. So generally something like that. Yeah, look for pullbacks. Right now may not be the best time or location to get into ARC because right here, previous high, there's going to be some natural resistance. I mean, you got to think about anybody who is up here is now looking at this and they're like, oh, finally, I got my money back. Boy, that was a long time to hold that loss. Gosh, I got my money back. Let's sell. Plus, it's just a double top. So you're going to be running into just natural selling right there. And again, third ATR. If nothing else, there's probably going to be a little pullback, third ATR. So yeah. Same thing with IWM. IWM is hitting its third ATR right now too. So just kind of let it pull back a bit. Yeah, Austin, making your list of buys for the next dip. I would agree. Docu, let's look at that. And Docu, sure. It's the same thing. You can see basically it's double bottomed and it's making progress. You see, this is what they're all doing. It couldn't get past its weekly 50, but now what? Now it is. And you can see there's your double bottom. Moxie indicator is about to fire, and it's back over the monthly 10. So yeah, these names are at their lows. Now, is Docu going to be the most exciting name, and how quickly is it going to move up, and is this going to be a big mover? No idea. I think actually DOCS might be a little bit more interesting. And then DOCN, this one. This one looks way more interesting. We caught just a little bit of this one. Um, Gosh, how much was that? Yeah, like 30%. So yeah, something like this, gotta let it come back down. But now it should be on your radar. Something like this, when it moves like this, like watch it and say, "Ooh, yes, this is a good name." And then you look for pullbacks and you look for entries to get into this. DOCN, good looking name. DNA, yeah, another one that could be a little challenging, but also very interesting. And you can see in through here, it is a laggard. It's definitely not leading the way, but it seems to me probably stop going down there and Moxie price trigger. And yes, it's still underneath the monthly 10, but I have a feeling it's working on it. Now, Austin, as far as DNA, what would be interesting and ideal would be a 50, 250 maneuver. So again, we'll just have to wait and see if that's gonna happen. But yeah, right now, basically the whole market is pretty overbought. I would definitely chill out and just wait for dips, wait for a pullback to happen because I think that's I think we're just about on it. All right, and yeah, path, same thing. Yeah, look at these things. They have been just bumping along the lows, percolating for some time. Look at that, stop going down. Couldn't get past the weekly 50 the first time, did get past it, but then pulled back, and now we're back up again. So trying to trade, if we're looking through here on the weekly chart, trying to trade all of this, pretty tough. But what I'm seeing is that we're making higher lows, we're getting over moving averages, and there is volume. Look at that volume on earnings, and we're starting to make new highs. So yes, we're starting to see progress is being made in through these names. And all you got to do is start building your list, look at these things, and wait for opportunities to get in. And either, I was kind of looking at this. So either we find dips to just get and to hang on, or we kind of wait for pullbacks in uptrends and see if these things start appreciating. Yeah, the DraftKings was actually one of the leaders. So this one started to move and came out of the gate fairly early. But yeah, look, there's your double bottom. And there's where price got over the moving averages. Look right there, over the moving averages on the monthly and weekly time frame. So yeah, one of the early movers, one of the leaders, a little bit up there right now. I would definitely see if there could be a deeper pullback. But other than that, what we can see is there was a pullback to the 21, there was a pullback to the 21, there was the deeper pullback to the 50, but then 21, 21, 21, 21. So Austin and Nick, those are what I'd be looking for either continuation pullbacks or deeper pullbacks, and that's what you're gonna have to be looking for. So, all right, guys. Well, oh, one other thing I wanted to just quickly let's mute that. I'm going to be doing a market update, another kind of deeper dive market update webinar, and I'll put it out there on Tuesday. So it'll be a quick little video to show you guys. But if you guys go and look at my 2023 bull bear market update, this was from March 1st. It's pretty much all coming true. Everything that I said in there was just the beginning of what I was seeing as far as the market starting to come out and saying, hey, maybe the worst is behind us. And that was what, 3 months ago. 3 months ago that I said this. And things still took a long time to kind of get figured out. They were still chopping around, like you could see that with the ARK ETFs. They weren't going anywhere, but things kept developing, getting better. We can see that with the Nasdaq, and yeah, basically everything that I said here, totally has followed through. So I'm going to keep relating to this and talking about it and following up with this because it was great to see the developments. All right, guys. Well, thanks again. Good chatting with you, and we'll see you next week.